Shalom. This is a piece that I wrote about a day or two after Sinai passed away, and it was really hard to write it, but it was even harder to be living through it. And I wrote about how the past 24 hours without Sinai had been the hardest of my life. Without having my Rebbe, Harini Kaprat Mishkava, was really like no other pain that I've ever experienced. I didn't know how to deal with it. I didn't know how to write about it. I didn't know how to cry. I was just in pain. And it was by this gaping hole in my life that I didn't have the greatest influence. And what made the pain even worse for me of not having Rav Sinai with me was that Rav Sinai was the one that I would go to when experiencing doubt, when experiencing challenge, trials, pains, and I would ask him how he handled it, how he would advise about it. That was what made this loss for me so hard and so difficult for me to handle, was that the one person I would go to so often for counsel wasn't there for me, and it was him that I was missing so much. Many few people in the world understand what a Rebbe Muvhak is. It's a special designation where it's not only that the person is a Torah scholar, it's not only the person's your rabbi, but it's the person that taught you the majority of your knowledge. And few people have Rebbe Muvaks anymore. Few people spend so much time with one teacher that that person becomes the Rebbe Muvak. And there's special laws about your Rebbe Muvak, certain ways you have to treat them. And to the point where scholars 500 years ago are writing about how maybe this designation doesn't exist anymore. But I had to admit that without my Rebbe Mufak, I was suffering. I was in great pain. In his own life, Rav Sinai lost his older brother to illness when he was just a child. He lost his parents and everyone he knew except for one brother in the Holocaust. After rebuilding his life and having four children, he lost his wife in her 40s. Then he got remarried and lost his second wife when they were in their 80s. And he lived the next 10 years with just his children and his students around him, but he was very much alone. But he always picked himself up, he always smiled, and he always continued to study and teach Torah. He studied through the pain. And that's something that I don't know still months after he passed away. I'm just as confused about how he did it as in the 24 hours after I lost him and wrote this piece. Haredi kapara mishkavo, and I still miss him, and the pain is still so real.